Okay, I'm coming, just 2 seconds. Okay. Good evening, maybe good morning in some places, or good night for other people. This video will be only in English. It's the first time for me. I won't translate. It's difficult for me to switch from French to English from French. So this video will be completely in English, and maybe it will be a series of videos. I want to talk with you about the book The Way of Mastery. It's the third time I will record some parts of this book. The first time it was bilingual, one page in English, one page, the same page in French, but the climatization, the fan was there, and there was a big noise in the room. After 1 or 2 years, I start again to record some parts of this book without the fan, and it was one paragraph in English and one paragraph in French. But with that also, it was very difficult to do the translation. So now I will start to read it completely in English and to talk only in English also. I am not bilingual. I make many errors in English, so I hope you will understand. I hope you will be tolerant with me. There is many more people who speak English on this planet. So, because this teaching is so important, I want to share it in English. When I will have the French version of this book, I translate some parts when I have time. When I will have it in French, I will record some other things in French completely. But now I don't have time for the translation on my computer, so I have decided to record it in English. And I will probably do some commentaries. You have here this little paper, my commentary. I have seen on my translator my comment, so I didn't know what was the best word, my comment or my commentary. Sometimes when I don't know the word in English, I use the French term and I use it in English. In some occasions it's okay, it's possible, and in other occasions it's not the good word. So excuse me, I will go freely. I will be like a child. I do that with humility. I know that I'm not able to pronounce correctly some words in English. I know that I don't remember some words in English, and I will use franglicisme, a word made of French and English. But for everybody who speaks English, you will be able to understand what I will read of this fantastic book and what I will explain in my words. Okay, you have more information about that and about my conferences on this wonderful book on my main website, the Divine Sky. The address is below the video. It's le ciel divin, wix, W-I-X, com, C-O-M, / the divine sky, because my website is bilingual. And you have also that on my website Everyoneweb, so it's Everyoneweb, fr/the way of mastery. It's in 3 parts: the way of the heart, the way of transformation, the way of knowing. It's supposed to be a book from Yeshua, from Jesus, given to Jayem, Marc, in United States. I'm not sure that this book comes from Yeshua, because I know that his human soul is incarnated. So if it's from him, it's from his divine part, his higher part. Or maybe also it's from a being who took his identity. Maybe. I love many parts of this book, but I don't understand some parts, and I don't agree completely with some other parts. So I say to you, take in that what you like, what you love, what you understand, and if you don't agree, like me, with some parts, don't take it. Do that with every book, every teaching in the world, every teacher, man or woman. But actually, it's the teaching who transform my heart the most. So I cannot share that with you. I don't know if in 1 year or 2 years or 3 I will keep these videos on YouTube, or if I will say it's not a good book, so I will withdraw my videos of YouTube. But actually it's very profound inside of me what this teaching does. Excuse my English again, I cannot speak very rapidly. And I have my little paper with my commentary, because I want to be sure that you will make the distinction between what I will read and what I will say with my words. I'm not sure if it's a good idea to share some commentaries in my reading, because it will break a little bit the rhythm, the flow of the text. So I will make some, I will try, I will see. Maybe after some parts I will stop to do commentaries, or I don't know, I will go with the feeling, okay? Oh wait, also I want to say a special thing before I will start. I won't record it from the beginning to the end, but from the end to the beginning. Why? For 2 reasons. First, because some persons are awakened a lot now, and maybe the last part of the book will be more interesting for them than the first part. When we teach some things in group, it's difficult sometimes, because it's not all the people who are the same level of understanding of many things. And when we give some explanations, for some people it's all known, and for others it's completely new. And with a book, it's the same thing. Some parts are like old things for us, and other parts are very new and even difficult to understand. So I will start with the end, and we will go chapter after chapter. It's 23 or 24, not 20, 30, 35 chapters. So I will start with the chapter or the lesson 35, and in the next video, the lesson 34, 33, 32. If you don't understand all the thing that you will listen, it's the sign that you need to listen or to read the other lessons, the other chapters of the book. Me, sometimes I understand the meaning intellectually, but it's not integrated in my heart. I'm not able to live like this all the time or many times. And so it's a big difference, our understanding in the mental level and in the astral level or the emotional level and in the physical level also. So if you understand what I will read or what I will explain in my words mentally, don't think that you understand all that if you're not able to live that completely in every second of your life. Okay, and the second reason why I want to record it from the end to the beginning, it's because when I write with my left hand, and I write, for example, like this, from the top to the bottom, from the right to the left. For example, with a sheet like this, I turn my sheet and I write like this. Since I'm a little girl, the first time I took a pencil in my hand, it was my way to write. And teachers try to convince me to turn my paper and to write as everybody. But for me, it was more natural to write like this, from the bottom, the top to the bottom, and from right to left. And with years, I have understood that it was maybe memories from my past life in the Middle East, because a lot of people in this place or in these places, these countries, write like this. And sometimes I take some newspaper and I like to read from the last pages, from the first pages. So with that, it's my style in many moments of my life. I will share with you the last part of the book, and after, gradually, until the first parts of the book. Okay? So, are you ready to begin with me? I hope so, I hope. If it's too long, because maybe it will be 1 hour or more, I will try to record the complete chapter in one sequence, but my video, my camera, will stop after 1 hour and some seconds. So this chapter or this lesson will be in 2 or 3 parts, I don't know. I give my time, my love for this, for the time that it will take for me to read the complete chapter and to give some commentary in my reading. Okay, I think I'm ready to start. Are you ready? So, the end is the back of the book. I will start with that. Oh, just a detail. If you want to read it, you can buy it on Amazon. It's $8 for each part of the book with 3 parts, so $24, or I think it's 24 for the complete book, but you can buy only the first part, only the second, or only the third. So because me, I will start with the third part. You can buy first the third part if you want to have the text of what I will read in my first videos. You can buy also the book on paper at $8. It's the electronic book. It's a book on Kindle or on EPUB, something like that. Me, I think it was $50. The book on in paper, more and the shipping for Canada, around $50 in paper. And if you write to me an email at my normal address, Julie de Montreal, what is the word? A commercial, the symbol in the middle, commercial A, gmail.com. Julie de Montréal, A commercial, gmail.com. I can send you an extract of the book and an extract of two little other books that Yeshua transmitted to Jayem. It's Yeshua letters and the way of the servant, the divine servant. It's beautiful also. So, okay, it's a lot of different little things before starting. I think I'm ready now. Okay, so at the end of this book, The Way of Mastery, an illuminating guide to awakening as Christ. Okay, first commentary, my commentary. It's difficult for many people to understand that we can become Christ, a Christ. The real nature of the Christ is the nature of the divine child. Everybody inside of him or inside of her is a Christ. Is a divine child, is the cosmic child. At the beginning, you have God, the entity formed by the Divine Mother, the Divine Father, and the Divine Child. So, the first personality, we can say, if we don't talk about the Father and the Mother, it's the child, the Divine Child. And our first part inside of us is the divine child. Every spirit, every soul is at the first level this divine child. We are all divine children and we are Christ. It's our true nature. So in this book you will see that this word is used in many moments because it's our true nature. Is if you really want to discover who you are deeply, in your deep love, in your truth, in your wisdom, in your divine creativity, in your peace, in your compassion, you will have to find this divine child inside of you, the Christ inside of you. Okay, so the title is The Way of Mastery, an illuminating guide to awakening as Christ. This book contains the extraordinary and transformational teachings of Yeshua ben Joseph, Jesus, who speaks not as a savior above you, but rather as a brother and a friend to gently and lovingly guide you to remember the truth of your being. The 35 lessons in this book are a pathway to forgiveness, self-love, and the acceptance of the perfection of each moment, and are designed to return the mind to wholeness. Yeshua speaks to every aspect of living in the world as Christ. With practically humor and loving direction, he points the way to the correction of every belief and perception that would keep you from knowing your perfect union with God. The only question left to be asked is, how much of God can you receive and then extend to the world? It is the way unknown to the world. It is a way unknown to many that would call themselves spiritual teachers. For it is not a way of resting on or becoming dependent on magical means. It is rather that pathway which cultivates within you the decision to turn your attention upon your own mind, upon your own behavior, upon what is true and real for you moment to moment, to study it, to consider it, to feel it, to breathe the light of spirit through it, and to constantly retrain the mind so that it assumes complete responsibility in each moment. Why is this necessary? Because without it, there can be no peace. The way of the heart. It's a passage in the first part of the book, The Way of the Heart. Ultimately, to truly awaken completely requires the dismantling of very subtle, deeply embedded patterns of perception that were already making up the soul prior to your incarnation in this life. The slate must be wiped clean, so that all that remains is the reality of spirit, with no filament or trace of egoic consciousness left. That is not an easy thing to do, yet it requires no effort save the effort to love. Love is the great healer. Love, that which erases the imprint in the death of the subtle soul. The way of transformation. So this part is in the second part, the way of transformation. Finally, only the reality of love can exist. And you are that one with the power to be awakened to your true nature right now, right here. Indeed, only when you have given up attachment to the modalities, the meditations, the prayers, the theologies, the textbooks, only when you have given up attachment to all form and merely make the decision to abide in the simple knowledge that you are that one, only then does knowledge permeate your awareness. The way of knowing. The third part. I remember that sometimes I wrote or I said the way of knowledge. It's similar, but it's not the real subtitle. It's the way of knowing. The way of the heart, the way of transformation, and the way of knowing. The first two parts prepare us gradually with many informations, many spiritual exercises. And the third part is more direct, more in confrontation with all we think in spirituality. So maybe, because I will start with the third part, it will be more difficult to accept. But I will read after the precedent chapters, lessons. So you will see if it's more easy to understand other lessons after. Okay, thank you now for your listening until this moment. And I will start. Okay. I will be here to continue. Lesson 35. Living as a sovereign master. Beloved and holy friends, I come forth to abide with you because I love you. Always and forever we are joined in the place of love. Always and forever we are joined in the place of reality. Always and forever I am but your brother and your friend. My commentary: I am your sister and your friend. You have many brothers and many sisters in what you call the disembodied state, who know you and who love you, and who do not come closer to you than you are willing to allow. And that allowance is always the result of your decision to claim your worthiness, to have communication that can enlighten you. You are indeed entirely sovereign at all times. You and you alone create the thoughts, the beliefs, and the perceptions that you wish to experience. These then crystallize into the forms of your experience, even into the physical dimension. Remember then, in this conclusion of the way of knowing, that there is never a time that you see anything that exists outside of you. Everything you see originates within you, since the only thing you can see is the way in which you choose to cloak or drape the mysterious energy of creation. Every neutral event, every moment of arising, is merely energy given to you on a silver platter, given to you freely, that you, as consciousness, might choose to have the opportunity to create experience by cloaking that energy that has been presented to you with the perceptions and beliefs that you have chosen for yourself. You have heard me say unto you many times that only love is real. You have heard me say unto you many times that it's not necessary to seek for love, but it is necessary to seek for what is false. My commentary? Because if we find what is false in our life, what are the obstacles? What are the things who aren't true? What it's not in very good feeling, we will be able to change that, to transform that, to correct that. And after, only the reality will be there, only love. So sometimes we think we have to search love, to search the reality. But if we can identify what is not love in each moment and stop to act in that, what will stay inside of us? Only love. Okay. Creating as a master. In all the previous lessons, you have been given many tools and much deep and profound understanding to assist you into the simple decision of complete responsibility for every moment of your experience. For, in the end, I can give you only this. I cannot relieve you of what you may perceive, yet to be the burden of the fact that you are constantly creating, that you are indeed a creator. Yes, we are all creator, co-creator of this world, with our thoughts, with our emotion, with our sexuality, with our activity in the physical world. We create in every moment with action, with emotions, with thoughts, with words. We create constantly. In each second we create, and we create our future. So we can change our future with our creation now. Likewise, I would not wish to unburden you from the incredible, shimmering awareness and responsibility, the freedom, the fun of knowing that as a sovereign master of your domain, you are free to create whatever your heart most truly desires. Yes, what your heart desires. Because sometimes we think that we must do things, but we don't must. We are invited to find what we can truly love, truly desire. And if we choose that, we will have a lot more of energy, and people will feel our energy with good vibrations of beauty, of sanctity, of divinity, if it comes from a true desire, a divine desire inside of us. The secret then, as I have shared with you many times, is to practice seeking first the kingdom. And me sometimes I say the queendom. A lot of words in spiritual texts are written from the point of view of a man. And when you are a woman, you see things differently. So me, when I see the word kingdom, I know that it's also the queendom. It's the same thing. It's a different place for men and women, boys and girls. So the kingdom or the queendom, it's the different place that where we want to be. Never let a day go by in which you fail to ponder the great mystery of God's presence. Never let a morning go by that you fail to begin your day, except in this way. Surrender all thought of what you know and have believed. Rest in gratitude to the one who has birthed you. Ask only to be revealed for you greater truth, greater wisdom, greater capacity to know and extend perfect love, perfect trust, and perfect peace. In the way of knowing, we come to the great culmination that you are indeed as I am. That in each moment of your soul's journey, you have literally created the worlds of your experience, just as I did when I walked upon your plane, just as I continue to do now. It was written, you are indeed as I am. Do you think that Yeshua will say something false? You are indeed as I am. We are all a divine child. We are at the image of God, of our mother, our father in heaven. Everybody. Maybe we don't remember that. Maybe we think that it's impossible, but it's not true. the deep part inside of us is in the essence, in the divine essence, as the divine part inside of Yeshua, Jesus. We all have the same divine parents, so our original nature, it's all the same. So you can make complete different choice now and live from this moment a divine life. If it was not the case in the past, it can be that from now. You are a Christ. You are a divine child. You are as Yeshua, as every spiritual master. When you connect yourself to your love. I continue. How then has it occurred that this form of communication could take place? It is not so much that I cleverly set up a labyrinth of doorways to draw you to this teaching, so that I could connect with you, but rather I rested in my desire to extend the atonement. By creating that desire, I began to create a vibrational field emanating from my mind out through creation. That vibration alone is not enough, but where it resonated with the deepest desire of my brother to know the Christ mind, to find a way to serve, to indeed heal and awaken from any last traces of illusion, a connection was formed. It's like two wires dancing about, their dance caused by the movement of energy through them, until their energy touches, joining the tips of the wires together. Yeshua talk here about the Christ mind. We have a mind, we have a human mind, often, but we can switch to the Christ mind, to the spiritual mind, a mind who express only thoughts, words, plans of love, of beauty, of holiness, of divinity. We can choose to stop every thought, every word, every plan, every action who is not in link with our true nature of Christ, from the Christ mind and the Christ heart and the Christ self. This process has occurred between my mind and yours, or you would not be reading this book. You would not have heard of Shanti Cristo. Shanti Cristo is the organization who work to diffuse, to put in the world this book. They are a little bit slow to translate the book, but I think it's because they want a complete integrity of every lesson, every word. So it's the reason why I do some teachings in French, because this book is not in French. So Shanti Cristo is the organization with that. So the sentence was, you would not have heard of Shanti Cristo, and you would not have heard of me. Recognize then your own power, for you have attracted me unto yourself, as I have attracted you to me. In each moment of all of your relationships, whether they be with people, places, or things, learn to pause long enough, which only takes a few seconds, and say within yourself, I am in the moment of this relationship because I have called this to myself, there is then something within me that vibrates or resonates perfectly with the other. Again, this is true whether that be a person, place, or thing. True change, then, can occur not when you recognize that you do not like the relationship you are in of person, place, or thing, and therefore take steps to get yourself out of it, but rather when you recognize that the relationship and what is occurring within it must be the result of something within your own consciousness. Therefore, what is unlikable in that moment of relationship is merely the flowering of a seed potential or vibration that you have been holding in the depth of your own being. It's easy to say, I have attracted positive thing. But it's difficult to say I have attracted from the inside of me the negative thing, the negative situations. So it's true for the two situations. Everything, every relationship that we live is an attraction from the law of attraction of our inner world, and we have to understand different things to be able to understand why it is like this, like that. For example, in a recent video, I've talked about a friend of me who is a big hermit, and it's hard for me to accept that because he refuses many contacts with people. But when I am deeply honest, I find inside of me that in a past life I live an hermitage, and I have taught me also that this way of living was good. So I have this part hidden inside of me to transform, to be able to not judge this person. So when we are in a reaction with a person in our relationship, it's because something hidden inside of us are similar, maybe a little bit different, less strong sometimes, but we have this part, and we won't have this part, we will completely understand others, completely love them, and we won't be in reaction with what they will do. Our negative reaction is because we have the same kind of energy somewhere inside of us. I know it's very difficult to accept. It's the mirror, the cosmic mirror, but it's true. And we will talk about this in other parts of the book. I continue. It is then a simple thing to seek first the kingdom, to rest in that simple knowingness, and to gently inquire of the Holy Spirit to teach you, to reveal to you what you have held as a true belief that is indeed false. As you then see why you have been holding that belief, and how it has manifested the world of your experience, you then are quite free to choose anew. It is just at this point where so often the mind becomes fearful and says, "But at least I know this. I do not know what is unknown. But I say unto you, there is nothing unknown. There is nothing unknown to you. For there is nothing until you decide to choose for it. This is why desire is the first key to the kingdom." to the queendom, to the place for divine persons, person in peace and love. Freedom can only come to the mind that truly assumes complete responsibility for the creation of its experience, so that in any moment it recognizes that the thoughts, the perceptions, and the feelings coursing through the emotional body are arising within the sovereign domain of that soul's being. They are uncaused save, again, for the seed thoughts or perceptions that that mind or that soul has chosen to value for itself. Life then offers you your way out. When things don't seem to be working and your peace is missing, this is actually a sign to you that there must be some belief or perception that you are clinging to which does not work. You are free then to seek it out, to inquire, and then to change it. I have often recommended to you that you cannot transcend what you first fail to embrace. Therefore, look well upon your creations and bless them. If it is the fact that your car has just broken down along the freeway, and the wheels have fallen off, and the motor stopped, and the doors have crumbled to dust, bless it. For that context of experience will take you into your tomorrows. There is no moment then, there is no moment in which you have failed. As a sovereign master, indeed, the literal embodiment of the mind of God, you have used your freedom to create experience. Embrace it. Rest in gratitude for it. Own it as completely yours. Then simply ask it. Do I wish to continue it, or would I like to start a new adventure? You will be creating new adventures eternally, for there is no moment that creation ends. Mind or soul is the vortex, the vehicle through which creation extends itself from the field of infinite possibility into the realization of manifold particularities. Beloved friends, you are indeed as I am. I am rather enjoying my domain. I am unlimited by space and time and have no longer any need whatsoever for the unique forms of experience that can come through the crystallization of what you call the body, what some of you still mistakenly call yourself. You then, my commentary. Sometimes I wonder also if it's the Christ directly who gave this teaching, because the Christ is Yeshua and is also other masters, other people. So sometimes I think or I feel that the voice of this book is the pure voice of Christ. That is at the first level of the creation of every spirit that we are, every soul. You then are very much at play in the kingdom, like a child in a sandbox, and each event that arises for you need to be judged. I have shared with you many times that it is the egoic mind that compares and contrasts. Therefore, never compare or contrast your experience with another person's. Yours is unique. And though the world would say, perhaps that your experience is not as valuable because you are only worth $20,000 and somebody else is worth 400 million. Therefore, they have manifested more powerfully. That is simply not true. For manifestation is simply the expression that reveals where the mind has been focusing. My commentary. I understand that deeply because I live with very few money since many years, and some people think that what I teach, what I share in books, in videos, in activities in person, it's not very good because I don't live with a lot of money. But it's because my concentration was not in money. Me, I know that in the celestial spheres, we don't live with money. We live only with our creativity, with our heart, our love. So I live like this here. And my priority is to love people, to teach loving things, to help people, and to do that freely. And I accept donations that come. So money is important, yes. We need money to live in this physical world, but it's more important to have a lot of love, a lot of compassion, a lot of desire to help people to liberate themselves, so to heal themselves also. It's my opinion. I continue. The real power is the very mystery that anything can be manifested at all, and you are free to constantly choose anew. Cultivate then a very childlike attitude toward all of your experience. Learn to ponder it, to wonder about it, to look upon it like a father does to a child, like your father does to you. Your father or your mother. Behold, I have created all things, and it is good. Excuse me. In your Bible, in the creation story that is told there, it is said that God said something like that. For God looked upon all that she had created and said, behold, it's very good. Here, Yeshua said she instead of he, because God, it's she and it's he. Sometimes in this book, he says she, and other times he. So it's very interesting. I love this part, and it's confronting in our mind. It helps us to have the Christic mind, where equality is there between men and women. You are the father of your creations. You are the father of your thoughts, your attitudes, and your choice. You are the mother of your creations. You are the mother of your thoughts, your attitudes, and your choices. It's my commentary. Look upon all of these things and say, behold, it's very good. For goodness begets goodness. Judgment begets judgment. For nothing can produce except that which is like itself. And a corn cannot produce a fish. A man and a woman cannot produce an acorn. The thoughts you hold about yourself will reproduce themselves. When you look upon all things as good, goodness will be begotten from that decision. Each time then that you have chosen to hold a negative thought about yourself or about anyone, you have only ensured the kind of inconsistency in your mind that interrupts the power of your ability to create more and more as a living embodied master. This can only be because you have held deep within the mind some belief that says, no matter what I do, I won't work out. There is some conflicted belief. A belief in goodness and a belief in evil create conflict that must entrap the soul. Perceiving as a master. Therefore, indeed, beloved friends, if you are to complete this study of the way of knowing, then know this as you think, you shall you be. As you think, you shall you be. How you think, how you choose to perceive and believe will determine what you see in the world. And what you believe you see will determine how you act. It will determine the friends you keep, the kind of career you create, where you live, and how you feel. In other words, if you hold the thought that you cannot trust the universe to support you, you will look out and see a world that seems, self-evidently, to reveal to you that such a thought is true. You will then create behaviors to insulate yourself and never let the world know what you want. And then, of course, you will wonder why life seems to go on as it always has. Learn always to inquire not out into the world, but into yourself. If I'm having this experience, what must I have believed to be true about myself and about the world? My commentary about that is that our conception of the Divine Mother and the Divine Mother influence all our relationships. And if we think that the Divine Mother or the Divine Father is not very good, is punishing, is dangerous, is not good for us, we will attract men, women, boyfriend, girlfriend, with these characteristics, because the first level of thinking in our mind is our relation with God, with the first part of God, the Father, the Mother. And if we have conflicts with them, we have a conflict inside of us, and we will project that in our relationships. So if we want to clean many of our relations with many men, many women, many boys, many girls, we have to clean our relation with the Mother, the Father, the Divine Mother, the Divine Father, and also the Divine Child, our true nature, with ourselves. So our belief about God, about the divine parts, the Divine Mother, the Divine Mother, will transform completely all our capacity of imagination, of attraction, of creation, with all the people in our life. The truth will come through prayer and through honesty. When you discover it, you will know it. Then use the sovereign power of free choice given unto you, which is the truth of the kingdom, to choose otherwise. A master cannot blame, and a master can never perceive himself or herself as having been victimized. Yet, this mastery does not come through special spiritual power. It comes only through a simple and free choice. Remember, I said earlier that you are constantly creating your experience. You are free in this moment and in every moment to simply say, I think I will adopt the perspective of a master. No sense in blame, no sense in feeling like a victim. What I am experiencing is wholly mine. I must therefore have wanted it. Always be very careful that you do not judge what is occurring, for that is the fault that people fall into, saying, why did I call this to myself? This is a horrible experience. why? Oh, why did I want this? All of that is judgment and not gratitude. I learned at the crucifixion that I could feel and experience gratitude for my persecutors. I could feel gratitude for the whole context of experience that I had chosen to call to myself, in order to discover that there are no circumstances powerful enough to prevent me from choosing for love. In the end, can there be a more powerful experience to call to yourself than that? Not the crucifixion.